Coming up on Reliving Single.
TC Carson.
So I think this show was important because it showed Black men protecting Black women.
Absolutely.
I know that if I'm going to go this way, you're going to go that way.
That's
Here
true.
it comes.
Can a brother get some popcorn? I ain't saying you a gold digger.
She's a hunter, and that's her last name.
Is that what you call it?
So you've done nude scenes?
Yeah, I have done a couple.
In theater?
Did you see people in the audience with binoculars?
You didn't need them.
Every time I hear a brother call a girl a bitch or a hoe, trying to make a sister feel low, you know all of that's got to go.
I tell you, it was the love affair of my lifetime. I got to do it on screen. Yay!
I go again, I'm going to cry. Thank you.
Welcome back to Reliving Single, the official, unofficial Living Single rewatch podcast. And this week, we are so excited to have the crew's Lothario,
TC Carson.
What's happening?
Oh, so happy to have you. So happy to have you. Let's talk about
Your
Kyle.
character, Kyle. Yeah, he was a stockbroker.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. And he represented a lot of what the ladies meant.
Self-proclaimed ladies' man.
Oh,
Okay.
What do you mean?
And he was,
self-proclaimed?
well, you know, he had to tell you. If he was really doing it, he wouldn't have to tell you so much.
Interesting. All this time, I thought he was getting it.
And
You
he
said
was.
He was getting a
He
little,
He was.
getting less than we think he was.
A little bit. Well, you know, once he fell for crazy.
Yeah.
It kinda,
Wait a minute. Still crazy after all these years. You think he wasn't getting as much? That's interesting. Okay, well, that's interesting.
That's not something I would have known. I believed that you were out there every night, but before you fell in love with Crazy.
Yeah.
You toned it down because you were waiting to slip in there.
Well, you know.
What the hell is this? Before I fell
good to
in love
know.
with Crazy.
Uh-huh.
What the?
I love that. I love that character.
With
tidbit.
with Miss Munch-a-Lot.
Right, I can see how this is going to go. All right, okay. Well, this
wait
week's
till tomorrow
Reliving
we-
Single is a spicy one. Now, you see that already.
Yes.
Y'all ready to get going on this?
Let's go.
Let's
do
go.
it.
It's time for the rewind. We're here to rewatch and relive Living Single with you. Woo woo.
I sound like a Muppet. Oh,
All right, it's a full house in this week's Living Single episode 5-Card Stud, Season 1, Episode 23. Kyle Barker has a dilemma when his work colleague starts dating Regine and then begins spreading lies about her. Will Kyle stay silent to climb the corporate ladder, or will he stand up for Regine? In other words, is Kyle about the bros before hoes? Meanwhile, Max, Sinclair, and Khadijah aren't here for the boys club, and they crash Kyle's men's-only poker night to stir things all the way up.
all right. It's written by Bara Grant and Ian Prazer, directed by Bob Schiller. We have some amazing guest stars this week. We have Bobby Hosea.
Bobby Jose
Bobby.
as
Bobby
Lawrence. Yes.
As Lawrence. You've seen him in Independence Day and The Young and the Restless and Lincoln Heights. Phil Lewis as JT. You've seen him on The Wayans Brothers and Sweet Life of Zach and Cody and Friends. And by the way, he's directing the show that I'm on right now called Vampirina. I just saw him and enjoyed working with him.
Nice.
And Jonathan Nichols Navarro as Dean from The Hunger Games, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Full house there.
Full house.
Full house.
Literally.
Let's do it.
How do I look, huh?
You look like Blackula. You know what your problem is. You do not appreciate fine clothing, as evidenced by the Jethro jumpsuit. Change.
Don't want to change.
Come on, Overton, man. It's not every day I get asked to host the executive poker game.
So you want me to kiss a little corporate ass, huh? Man, whatever happened to hard work and dignity?
I am dignity, all right? And it took hard work to get into this game. I have been waiting over a year and a half to hear those magic words, Fred died, and you're in.
Even though Overton says you look like Blackula, I think you look really nice. Kyle looks very nice.
Really handsome. Always did, always does.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really like the juxtaposition of the two guys, their friendship. I really like it's really nice to see the sophistication, but to see the down home stuff really outweigh the sophistication a lot of times.
I always wanted to know how much you infused you into the wardrobe, into the costumes.
Ceci allowed me a wide berth to play because she had all these women to dress. And it was really a lot to dress y'all.
Yeah.
It really was.
And Ceci was our stylist and costumer, excuse
Yeah.
me, for
Right.
most of the time we were there.
So she would bring things for me and she would say, what you think, and let me put it together.
And then he gives you this hard line about what happened to hard work. And I don't think for an instant that Kyle did not work hard at the office. So it was, you were willing to kiss a little tail in order to, you were willing to play the game,
Play the
right?
game.
Play the
Play
game.
the
But you
game.
worked hard as well,
But
didn't you?
again, you have to play the game.
Yeah.
We play the game all the time in Hollywood. You choose what game to play, though.
What are we playing? Uno? I mean, can I get some other players up in this mug? Monopoly? I know that's right.
I'm playing Jack.
We playing sorry. That's what we playing.
Sorry we late, but you forgot to
Thank you. And pay you later. Bye.
Oh, poker. My game.
My game. A man's game.
What are you saying? We're too wimpy to play? Overton, I'd love to stay, but it's time for solidarity. Come on, Regine.
Excuse you, but I left my mama in Jersey.
You're a very beautiful woman, and I would love to have dinner with you tomorrow night.
Well, this is awfully sudden.
Well, I'm suddenly very interested in getting to know you.
Suddenly I'm free.
My promotion is riding on that man's recommendation, all right? And if he ends up hating you, he could end up hating me. If this doesn't work out, pretend you don't know me, forget you ever knew me, act like you never met me, all right?
Done.
What I was really honed in on was you understanding that if Regine dated your boss and the boss didn't like her, that it could end up jeopardizing you. So even though there might be, who knows, it could have been a love match where you're like, no, don't mess this up.
It was important for me to let Regine know not to mess up.
Yeah.
Because, she's Regine. Yeah, and-
Regine be Regine.
Yeah, and I didn't want her, whatever she was doing to interfere with what I was trying to do.
Right, okay.
And I know my friends, so I wanted to pull her coattail early. And again, you all are up there just to mess with Kyle.
That's true.
It's not really about
It's like,
playing
you're having
poker.
a party without us.
Right, it's
Yeah.
just to interrupt his evening.
We ain't up to no good.
No, you're never up to anything. Not when it comes to Kyle. Maxine is, come on.
Fine, for sure.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think Regine was right for staying?
I see why Regine stayed. He's a good man with a good job. We know that he's your boss, so we know that he's doing well. He's handsome. He's flattering her, which she loves. Like, well, okay, So why wouldn't she stay?
I ain't saying you a gold digger.
Right?
Ooh.
Well, the potential is there. She's a hunter, and that's her last name for a reason.
Is that what you call it?
That's her last
Her name is Regine
A
Hunter.
It's Regine.
No, but I'm
Regine.
saying she's a hunter.
She's a huntress. Oh,
Okay.
she's definitely a
Huntress.
huntress.
I mean, we never gonna beat those guys if we don't know their weaknesses. Overton said he could read those guys like a book. He won $150 from them.
Oh, yeah? Are we gonna get him to rat out the other players?
Oh, please. He's a man, isn't he?
I like that they didn't just leave. They're now saying, how can we not only beat them, but also cheat and beat them?
Cheat.
Yeah, because they're asking, we need to know their weaknesses.
Oh.
They don't just want to beat them by luck. They're like, we need to know something about them. Is that cheating?
I don't think that's cheating. I
Okay,
think that's
that's
just
not cheating.
information. It's just information.
That's right. But you see, Sinclair is really crafty. So who's playing the crafty?
That's some
No, but listen, but when the thing is that you got to learn someone's tells. So
That's
it's
right.
like,
You
we've
do,
been
you
friends
do,
long enough that I
you
know
do.
your tell, I know your tell, and that's just information. Is that really cheating?
What?
A tell.
Okay,
It's a tell.
yes, I understand.
No,
Right
no, but
now.
you each have quirks and ways, and
You do too.
No doubt.
No doubt.
No doubt.
I know your tale.
Well, that's one of your tells. One of your tells is to go straight for conflict every time.
Is that a tell or is that a maneuver? I think this is a maneuver. A tell is something that I if I don't want to give something away, you can still tell it no matter what.
Right.
Because I start blinking a lot or something.
Right. Right. No, so in the realm, I'm calling it a tell. It's in the realm of quirks and ways that you have and things that you do as a maneuver. And it's a tell. I know that if I'm going to go this way, you're going to go that way.
That's
and here
true.
it comes.
That's true.
So maybe it's not the exact definition of tell, but that's also another one. Go ahead.
What other one is it?
Can a brother get some popcorn?
I'm telling you, this girl practically ripped my shirt off.
Dog.
And then she asked if I wanted to try it standing up. So I opened the sunroof.
You lucky dog. I guess that temp wasn't as chilly as we thought, huh?
Tim, we're talking about Regine.
And I'm not one to forget a favor, my brother.
Good move hooking Lawrence up with the freak. You are on your way up.
Single guys get all the breaks.
Yeah, lucky me.
So we had men at work and they're bragging. They're bragging and they're boasting. Again, we think it's the temp. And then we find out, no, it's not the temp. But that kind of conversation, is that appropriate at work? And does that happen at work?
It happens at work all the time, but is it appropriate? No, not really.
It was even more accepted maybe in the 90s than now, don't you think?
Right. Why come to work and brag about all this that happened?
Well, probably because he doesn't really do much at all. So you have to try to stay BMOC, big man on campus.
Yeah, but the pressure is on Kyle. Like, is he going to stay loyal to his buddies at work or is he going to be loyal to his neighbors and friends?
Either way, there's risk on both sides.
Okay, so what are the risks? Like job?
You lose your job, you lose your
promotion.
friend.
I love in that scene, though, we don't know, you are, for lack of a better word, crestfallen at that moment because you're like, what just happened? Do you think that Kyle is thinking my friend is lying? Or are you thinking like my friend Regine?
He knows Regine didn't do that.
Okay, there you go.
He knows Regine didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not her
That's
style.
not her. No.
It's too easy.
No. He didn't buy her anything.
Oh my God. That
What are
part.
you saying?
That's real.
Right.
But come on, it's Regine. There
Yeah.
was no Tiffany's. There was no, no.
But she
There
might
was
not
no-
have given it up for any of that either.
But at least it would have been a conversation.
It'd been more on brand. Yeah.
Kim is gonna call you after this.
That's true.
When I tell you he was brilliant at this.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
What?
Must you do that now?
If not now, when? If not me, who? What you so testy about, man? You know always buff on the 15th.
Oh, yes, the Ides of Overton. All right, man, you know how Regine went out with Lawrence the other night, right?
Right.
Today, man, at the office, he was telling all these lies, talking about Regine like she was some kind of skis.
So you went off on him, and now you're afraid he's gonna ruin your job, huh? Well, hey, you do the right thing, brother. Go ahead, hit that rock.
I'm sorry, man.
You said nothing?
But look, it's not like I haven't been agonizing over this all day. I mean, I know Regine doesn't deserve to be dragged through the gutter so Lawrence can feel like a man, but it's none of my business, right?
Sure. As long as you don't mind not sleeping at night.
I could get a lot of reading done.
We first have to talk a little bit about that dance
That
that John Hinton does, that Overton does. It's so good.
It's
He's
so
buffing the
good.
floors, and he's got this big machine, and all the furniture's cleared away, and he's got these slick wood floors, and there he does this great comedic dance.
Big machine, big band, and it felt very Jerry Lewis to me.
Yes.
It felt, and I've said many times that John Hinton has encyclopedic knowledge of comedy and physical comedy, and he was probably borrowing from a few and making it his own. And that's a dance John one would do, and it was just glorious to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And on the 15th, he buffs the floors. I love that.
The Ides of Overton.
The Ides of Overton.
Maybe we should call Overton maybe the moral leader of the living single men right now.
Right.
Because the dark horse is not winning right now. The light horse is. But that kind of mirrors Sinclair's, beauty and honesty and integrity. That's why they kind of they complement each other, but they also, are very similar.
No, I love it.
It's
I love
beautiful.
It. Okay.
Can you beat a pair of eights?
Hell yes.
Well, what about that full house, baby?
I did not come here to get waxed by these bitches.
Who you calling a bitch?
All right, watch yourself. Set it off.
No.
Now, set it off.
Hold up. I think Kyle gonna handle this one.
How dare you come in my house and disrespect my friends and talking all that garbage about Regine yesterday? Man, who do you think you are?
Wait a minute. Let's back it up here. Back it up. What you say about me?
Man, get out of my house.
We have to really quickly say that this was a big meta moment for Latifah with the who you calling a
Right.
bitch.
Calling a bitch. Yeah.
They thought that it was going to be end of morality, these words. And it also crept into, because the music was also being seen as, even Tipper Gore, remember, she wanted special things on the albums. To say,
Parental advisories.
that's right. Yeah.
Parental advisory.
Parental advisories and all that. It was a time. But, now it's a badge of authenticity and edginess. If you do that, suddenly you're about something.
Well, you know what else too? We see a lot of full frontal nudity in women, and so now full frontal nudity for men, and it's not porn.
I saw some crazy
Flapping
stuff
in the
on
wind.
BET. They had full frontal and very large black penises.
Really?
Blot out the sun.
I'm gonna have to reinstate my cable membership.
I know that's right.
Had you saying, Officer Good Body.
That's a good body. Yeah, no, it's all, no, there are
No rules.
no
anymore.
restraints, no boundaries.
Have you ever done nude scene?
Oh my gosh, have I?
Other
But,
than ours.
Well, you're right. No, well, it turns out to be, one of my best things I do.
Oh, well.
I was really good. I'm good at being nude.
Yeah, I am too.
You are? So you've done nude scenes?
Yeah, I have done a couple.
You have
Uh-huh. On stage and movie, yeah.
on a stage, like on a theater in theater,
Uh-huh.
like with your manhood out.
Uh-huh. We did Hair. And there's a nude scene at the end of Hair where everybody drops trowel.
Did you see people in the audience with binoculars?
You didn't need them.
Wow.
Come on, I'm glad.
You set them up, I'll knock them
I
down.
know.
Literally from across the room.
Certainly. Wow, Mr. Good Body.
Black
I love
boys
it.
are delicious. Can we have a moment for Latifah saying, set it off? Yo, set it off.
Yeah. She jumps up.
She
set
jumps
off.
up, set it off. Come on.
Yeah. Come on. Her famous movie Set It Off.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she had a lot of things going. This is a big meta moment for Queen Latifah.
It is.
Because in this, we also know that she dropped an album that went gold, UNITY, Unity, and this
Who
was
You
her
Calling
hit
a
song,
Bitch,
Who You
yeah.
Calling a Bitch. But she's telling, as a conscious rapper, you ain't just gonna roll up on my instincts taking me to another
flow.
flow. Every time I hear a brother call a girl a bitch,
Bitch
or
or
a
a hoe.
hoe, trying to make a sister feel low, all of that's got to go, right?
Right. And she said in the lyric, though, when we're playing, it's cool. And I love that she created that parameter. Like, I know if we just playing, hey, crazy bitch. But it's one of my favorite videos of hers.
Yeah.
It is.
And the way she moves
Yeah,
in
the
it.
way she's moving, they put her up on the thing and float her
She
down,
floating
and and her leather and all her bikes and whatnot. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
How amazing is it that her first gold record, because she had many, I think her first gold record.
It was her first gold record was
a-
during the show.
And it was about women, who you calling a bitch. It was about something. You know?
And
Why
didn't
not?
she give us a copy?
A gold record?
A gold record, yes,
Uh-huh.
signed by her. Yes.
She gave
In
us
a
each
frame.
one.
In
Yes,
a frame,
she
yeah.
showed.
And we had a
Damn.
party and a big cake and
Mhm.
everything.
Ooh, I'm gonna put that on eBay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Woo, time to pay the rent.
Well, Kai, if that little girl Lawrence ever tries to get you fired, don't worry about it, brother. You got a lawyer.
Max, you'd represent me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't let my personal feelings interfere with my work. I can represent you and despise you at the same time.
How many cards, baby?
1.
There you go. Dealer take 1.
Yeah, B.
Chumps, I was bluffing. Give me the money.
Every time I hear a brother call a girl a bitch or a hoe.
Yvette Lee Bowser ends it with the great Latifah singing
Her
her
video,
video
yeah.
talking about who you calling a bitch, which is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect way to close that show out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody thought it when the line was said.
Of course.
I'm sure everybody thought about the song, so it was a perfect way to end the episode.
Y'all think that was an Emmy episode?
One of many.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We tackled something
One of many.
head on, tackled it beautifully, tackled something that was happening in the zeitgeist, as people would say.
We did a lot of episodes that were relative,
Yeah.
relatable to the times that we were in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Regine getting surgery, Khadijah going and seeking therapy. You know, things like that.
Vision getting breast reduction.
Breast reduction,
surgery.
yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't just have to always be dramatic. I think we should have gotten the Emmy episodes for like Raising Harbor.
Raising Harbor, yeah, we absolutely should have got one.
They were just wonderful episodes that you look back
black
and enjoy.
sitcoms were never really looked at as Emmy material.
And that's one of the reasons why I go on and on about this, but because they were seen as black sitcoms as opposed to sitcoms with black casts.
Yes.
And as long as we were in some kind of cultural ghetto, we were not going to get our due.
Exactly.
And that was an issue and still is.
Still is.
Listen, this episode was a doozy. I loved it. Yes.
There's more.
The reverb.
There's a reverb. Let's get to the reverb right now. Okay, Erica.
Talk to me.
Black excellence. Go. I'll start. Living Single.
Okay, our beautiful melanin in all shade, family cookouts, hip hop, R&B, basically every genre of music.
Okay, you know how we invented all them line dances and people know the songs and they know how to do all the
Yes,
line
I
dances.
do.
How do we do that, Black
I
excellence?
don't know. And our hair, the way it grows from our scalp, we can do so much. Natural, locks, cornrows.
And it fades. Exactly. See, Black excellence has layers. You see what I did there?
I saw it.
And Lexus, well, they understand and deliver the luxury that we deserve.
Because when you embody excellence, you need a ride that moves like you do, smooth, smart, and impossible to ignore.
Oh, from the moment that you touch that wheel, Alexa says, I didn't just show up, I showed out.
No, it's more than a car. It represents how you walk through the world, intentional, grounded, fly, without even trying.
Because that's what Alexis does. It makes you feel amazing.
And look good too.
Well, then there's that.
The holidays are rolling in, and if you're trying to deck the halls your way, Wayfair is definitely your spot. They've got everything you need to put you in the holiday spirit. Christmas trees, quality cookware, even a 7-foot inflatable black Santa Claus. If you can dream it, Wayfair's probably already got it, and it's on sale. Now look, we all know the holidays can be straight up hectic. That's why I'm going the Wayfair way. With free shipping, fast delivery, and prices that won't snatch your joy, I can actually breathe this season. And since I'm not stuck in traffic or worrying about if my gifts are delivered in time, I've got time to do what I really love, judge every single dish on the holiday table. Wayfair makes it easy to tackle your home goals this holiday season with endless inspiration for every space and budget. Get organized, refreshed, and ready for the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home.
All right, y'all, welcome to the Reverb, brought to you by Lexus. Y'all know this is where we reflect and connect and talk about how the episode's themes still echo in the culture. Because just like our stories, Lexus keeps raising the bar. That's the standard of amazing.
So I think this show was important because it showed Black men protecting Black women.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that in our community that we kind of are losing. I don't think we take care of the kids and the women in our community.
So Malcolm X said the most disrespected person in America is a Black woman.
Because she getting it from every side. She's getting it from her people. She's getting it from white women. She's getting it from white men. She's getting it from children, white children. She's getting it from everybody.
Because this episode, and I think Living Single did at least, I think, show you and Overton, you were protecting Black women. You were,
Yes.
yeah, it was a beautiful thing.
Well, it was important, I think, early on when John and I had a conversation when they were, we initially were looked at as Lenny and Squiggy.
We've talked about that.
And we decided we didn't want to be that. Not with these strong women. We needed to be something else.
Well, it also showed that Black men believing Black women. You believed her.
Yeah.
You knew that he was
Well, I
lying.
knew that. That's my girl. I know she didn't do that.
Well, it showed that women can battle sexism, but ultimately they need male allies and accomplices.
Always.
And abolitionists.
We need
to
each
win the
other.
war.
We need
We need each other, yeah.
Yeah. So there's fragile and toxic masculinity versus healthy masculinity, which you and Overton, the Kyle character, were versions of healthy masculinity.
Yeah, I think so.
And you continue to be.
Thank you. What's the manosphere?
Well, the manosphere is something like it's something that bashes, in particular, let's for these purposes,
especially
Black
the-
women.
Yeah. Okay. Digital spaces.
Yeah, the Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels was a famous podcaster.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Who does this is women in general, not necessarily Black women.
Yes.
Right.
Fresh and
Are
Fit
these
podcast.
podcast people?
They are.
Online influencers. Kevin Samuels has now
YouTube
passed away.
Image consultant.
Or, they start out as one thing, and then what happens is you get the views when you begin dissing women and telling women what they're doing wrong and how you could, you're not a not
high value
and
woman or
a
high value.
high-value
You're not
man.
going to attract a high value man. It's the sort of
And
rhetoric.
this is a man saying this?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like shooting fish in a barrel because these women call, I think, with good intentions, wanting to know, how do you rate me? He says, well, tell me what is your height? What is your weight? What do
How
you
many
do?
kids
How
you
many kids
have?
you have? Oh, you're a best of 3. You're a best of 5. Yeah, but nobody's going to want you. You're going to need to lower your expectations. And
Wow.
it's so cruel.
Wow. And he's getting likes and he's making money off of being
They
cruel.
all are.
Wow.
They all are, but that's the thing. I mean, if you have a fixation on beauty and all of these outward materialistic things, you never ask that person, what are your dreams like? What do you think about? What do you dream about at night? Like, who are you? Do you do volunteer work? They didn't ask them about their inner
their
person.
value, their core value.
Their core value.
Everything
Just
is
anything
surface.
that could look like a mistake. Oh, you're 200 something pounds and how tall? 5'2"? Yeah, no. You're a 3 at best. And it tore women down. And I was especially sad for my sisters because we don't deserve it. And I think that we really wanted to believe that this person that looked like he was a good looking man when he presented himself very well could help them find love and companionship. And even if they were delusional about some of the trappings around it, it's only because for 40 or 50 years, we've been talking about the materialism and not the inner core, not the knowledge, not the things that we should be looking for. So the damage has been done because it then gave way to all sorts of men who started to say, well, Black women are too masculine and y'all want too much. You need to submit yourself, because I'm the head of the household and I should be the leader and all this nonsense. You may get a situation like that, but what makes you think you have the right just because you're a man to be a leader? You have to, if you want to be a leader, you have to prove that you're a leader and you have to find a woman who wants one. I want a companionship. I want a partner. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that there's something really okay with not submitting, but because that's a word that has a connotation that's like, am I yes, master? But there's a give and a take. If there's something that I know that you like, if there's a food that you like, why wouldn't I prepare it or cook it or make it available to you? That's not submitting. That's a give and a take. He does the same for me. There's nothing wrong with staying in your feminine, especially since we're so driven and we're working. If I could take that off at home and be a little softer, it feels comfortable for me. And I don't diminish any piece of myself. And I don't think women who do that are diminishing themselves. They're just stepping into their femininity. And by the way, we all have feminine and masculine in us. And there are times when, especially if he's sick, he's not feeling well, I love babying him. He's a man, he's strong, but he also needs my care. And I don't think there's anything wrong with partnering in that way and having a give and a take.
But we have people who are relationship critics who have none of that.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying they never had it, telling other people how they can
Yeah.
have it. And this just, they're pumping it out and selling it like it's,
Right.
like it's, you
But
know.
I think the thing that we're
nothing.
missing is that you get to determine what you want your relationship to look like, and then you seek that or you magnetize that.
Well, I think relationships have changed over the years. So what was germane in the 40s and 50s is totally different now.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships have morphed, and you have to morph with the times.
For
The
sure.
love is still there, but the way what people deem a relationship is has changed.
But what's really going on underneath? Because why would Black men gravitate toward people like that? Like, what's going on? Like, you say it's changed. Obviously, people are feeling a certain kind of way. They may be feeling ignored or underappreciated.
I think it's all because of this. This puts so much pressure not just on young people, on everybody to be something, to look a certain way, to have certain things, to present a certain way. Even if you don't have it, you can make it up on this box. You can use AI to put yourself anywhere you want to put yourself. You can put yourself in anything you want to put yourself in using this box right here. So you get to craft a life that you want other people to see, and it's not really your life, though.
Right, but you're also tending to a mirage because it's not really there. Right.
And the relationships fall apart because people are trying to keep up this image of what they think is popular or what they think is going to work.
But also rejection in dating. They're going like this,
it's
swiping right and not
throw
taking
away.
it. Yeah, just and that's making it. I mean, it's actually weird because they're saying everybody's now anxious. They're anxious. They're going to sleep thinking or living their life thinking they won't find anything or find anyone, but they don't necessarily have the skill set, the soft skills to get there.
One of the things about our relationships on Living Single, I've had a lot of young Black men come up to me and saying that they didn't have examples in their home. And they looked at Overton and I, and they learned how to have conversation with women, how to treat their sisters by watching us and watching how we dealt with you all. The show was so much more than what we thought it was in the beginning. It was. And I think we learned real early that it was something special for our community, which is why we fought for the things we fought for.
Indeed.
Because it wasn't a throwaway.
It wasn't just a sitcom.
It was something that was important.
It was meaningful.
Yeah.
And I want people to know how much we love men. Kim is always talking about that conversation.
I learned, and I went and took, cause I wanted to have a better understanding because I was becoming hardened and anti-male because I was dating lovable losers, but that's what I was choosing. I take responsibility. I went and took a series of classes and learned so many things about men being providers and protectors. And if you look at any man, whether it's a romantic relationship or not, look at how he provides for you. Look at how he protects you. Look at how look to see if he is indeed providing and protecting you. So just look at the men like you, like John, who are excellent, who are protective, who are loving, who are caring, deeply caring, and go, ding, I deserve that. I'm attracting it now, and how can I attract more of that in my life?
Yeah.
Whether it's romantic or not, because we need each other. You know, we need each other. And every time you've said, you're like my sisters, you loved on us and we loved on you.
Absolutely.
You know, and we wanted to. You made it easy to love on you.
It's also, by the way, just a small thing about the music. A lot of things in the music are not giving way to having these conversations. We used to, when we grew up, they were like, come show me your kindness.
Comfort me with all your madness. Woman, don't you know that you are born
again.
Oh, pick a key, Jesus.
Yeah.
Can you pick a
Woman,
key?
don't you know with you I'm born again. We had beautiful songs to teach us. Now people are getting their back blown out, man. And they're scared. They think somebody's going to break them. It's
They're
true.
scared.
I've had people come up to me and they say, I don't want to have sex, Miss Erica. I said, why? She said, they're going to hurt me.
They're gonna hurt
I said, what do you
me.
mean? She said, well, they're doing this. And I said, oh, the language. And they were 20-something years old, 24, 25 virgins. And they said, they were frightened. Blow your back out? what does that mean? I don't want to blow my back out. I'd like to go to a movie.
I'm not gonna laugh
I'd like
right
to have
now.
some popcorn. Don't blow my back
really
out.
not gonna
I
laugh
like my
right
back.
now.
But it's the things, and we need
That's
more
terrible.
duets. We need more. We have beautiful people, Tiana Taylor and these people in the world to show us the way, and Beyonce to do more duets. We need love
right
songs.
way.
You think we can
The
go
right
back?
way.
You think we can go back to
Yes,
that?
we must, because by the way, we're the culture makers. And if we start rejecting all of this hostility and anger and start to bring in the lovers, the neo soul and all of that, and
Well,
start
I
to
think
cherish these.
we have
we
to
will-
support it ourselves.
Yes.
And not
Now's the time.
want those other entities to sign off on it and to deem it worthy. Again, you said we're culture makers. So we can create the art. The art will sell.
This is the time. Let's glom on to what Kim has been preaching and going around and saying, the power of self. And, what do you're about crystals and life and all this sort of good stuff.
Crystals and light and self-awareness and exploration and curiosity. Curiosity about
You got to keep learning.
Gotta keep learning. Go behind the curtain a little bit on some of the indoctrination that we've had. Go behind the curtain and look at what's really there and what they're telling you and how we're acting on automatic. We're on autopilot. And if you stop back and go like, well, why do I think that way? Or why do I do that way? Or why am I even be curious? Be curious.
Yeah, there's nobody to
But
blame
it's,
anymore.
It's worth work. It's worth the
ours.
work, I think.
You know what? That was awesome. And True Blue. We got the True Blue.
Okay. Do we have a True Blue question from one of our True Blue fans and friends, which is friends and friends as one word? Enjoy.
We actually do have a True Blue question
kick out of it.
today. This question is from Anissa, and she asks, what are Erica and TC's take on the Max and Kyle relationship and living single as it relates to Black love? They started as enemies, but do you think that they were a good representation of it?
That's a good question. I think they were a good representation of a couple that were really working to work out their differences. I'm not going to put a black or white thing on it. I think it was a universal love story, and I think that's what resonated with people. I think we hadn't seen two chocolate people like that in our zeitgeist, and so that made it special for us. But the love story was a very universal, for me anyway, a very universal story. You like her, you don't like her, she like you, she don't like you, but y'all really like each other, so okay, fine.
Yeah, I always thought that their relationship was a negotiation
Always.
in real time. And they were tough negotiators. And I think they also were testing their boundaries and sort of saying, these are mine. And then also afraid that maybe expectations wouldn't be met, then you push the person back. And that was Max's, I think, biggest issue, because there was something really beautiful and welcoming about Kyle that I thought that they wrote for you and made the Max character be the one that was, but then I think she had the most to lose. In this world, she had fought very much for anonymity.
And she had been hurt.
She had been hurt
really bad.
And she had built herself up powerfully, ambitiously to be independent on
And
no
not
one.
need.
And not need. And yet she needed a lot. And yet I believe that she could consistently create a world for her to be happy in, no matter what. And she seemed happy. She wasn't waiting for you to make her happy.
Right.
She was just deciding, were you the one? Because if one thing I think she was a monogamous woman. She wasn't going to have several different Kyles.
Once she decided to settle down.
Yeah, then you were her guy. Plus, she was also saying, this is not going to power down once we're, together. This is what you get. And a lot of people think that
once you get married, it's going to be different.
Yeah, this is going to be different. It's like, no, this is it. And he was saying that to her too. I thought that was a beautiful dance. And Kyle Bowser and Yvette Lee were in a real dance. I wonder how much of that was part of their lives.
Right. It was a great thing to be able to play. I tell you, it was the love affair of my lifetime. It really was. I got to do it on screen. Yay!
It's beautiful.
I go again, I'm going to cry. Thank you. It was a love affair of my life, too. And that's so funny to have it on in front of everybody.
Well, to have it in where you can go back and watch it.
Exactly, and still be young and beautiful. So yeah, so
and
thanks
still
a lot.
love each other now.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, she stuck with me. Both of y'all. Y'all can't get rid of me. It's too late.
How about that?
Why
It's too
would we
late.
want to?
Well,
that's our show.
That's our show. TC, Carson.
You're one of a kind.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me here and having this wonderful conversation around toxic masculinity and Black love and taking care of our sisters and brothers in our community like we took care of each other on Living Single. It's been really interesting conversation. It was a conversation I didn't expect to have tonight, but it was a really good conversation. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for, like I said earlier, being one of a kind, and thank you for being consistent.
There have been so many song titles from you all have been saying different, one of a kind, love affair. It's been at least 10 tonight that have popped through my mind. So don't say that. Don't say that. Don't sing that.
Oh, well, say whatever you want.
Anything,
No,
Thank you
no.
for representing for not only Black love, but for love et al. You are a fantastic representation of what it is to be human in this world. And you've decided to do it right in front of our eyes, in plain sight. And it's a beautiful thing. And we thank you for that example.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. I'm not going to cry.
No.
Nope. That's it.
That's it. Well, that's our show. Make sure to follow us on all of the socials at Reliving Single Podcast and listen and watch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And I want you to understand something. You need to watch this show all the way through. I know you're here right now, so you did that, but tell your friends when you watch it all the way through because you never know what you're going to get. We will see you all next week. This is so exciting that we had
tell a
TC
friend,
Carson.
All that good stuff. Yes, and come back and see who's here. And thank you. See you next week.
Bye.
Reliving Single is hosted by me, Erica Alexander.
And me, Kim Coles.
Reliving Single is a production of Heartbeat in association with Color Farm Media.
Executive produced by Kevin Hart, Jeff Clanagan, Eric Eddings, Leslie Guam, Erica Alexander, and Ben Arnon.
The show is produced by Kim Coles.
Amber Watson is our senior producer.
Our associate producer is Kenny Jackson.
Our other associate producer is Electra Telesford.
Our sound engineers are Eric Hicks and Cedric Wilson.
Production supervision by Razak Boykin and Brett Calkins.
Additional production support from Alex Atkins and Z. Taylor.
Special thanks to BK Augustine and Dr. E.J. Johnson.